Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today we're going to take a look at creating a reveal wheel card using Lawn Fawn's reveal wheel as well as the Hey There stamp set. Over on my blog you will also find the instructions on the step-by-step instructions on how to create your own template. I know that Lawn Fawn has templates for all of the reveal wheel product, but I did not have them, so I had to make my own. And at the beginning of this, I go ahead and make my own reveal wheel template for the regular reveal wheel product. So you have the little puzzle piece there for the cover plate, and you insert the puzzle piece from the various different reveal wheel products that you may have to create a card. To make the template, the first thing I did was went ahead and created the large turning wheel piece by die cutting one of those. Then I went ahead and I used my ruler and just created the center points on those so that I would know where the different sections needed to be. So basically I just cut it up into a pie of 4 pieces. There's also an embossed line around the outside edge. You can see it on the die there to the left really easily. Right there you can see it. On the wheel itself, what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm just showing you really quick how that lines up on there, on the die, what it looks like. So you're going to line up that embossed line with the top edge. See, there's the embossed line on the paper with the top edge of that window on the front. And what I did was I slid the front cover down a little bit, and I found where my lines that I drew to get the center points were on the wheel. And then I just slid the cover piece back up, and then I'll flip it over and I'll tape down the wheel part to the back of that cover sheet. And then I'm going to slide the puzzle piece back in, and I'm going to run it through with the wheel attached to that cover piece so that I'm able to die cut the wheel excuse me, the wheel portion. This is the 3rd time that I'm redoing this voiceover for this particular card. Evidently I forgot to mute all of the sound previously, and I recorded over all of the background noises, and it's no telling what you heard. I could have been yelling at the cat, watching TV, listening to music and singing along. So I have taken that down, and I'm redoing the voiceover for this again. And I thank you very much to the viewer that let me know about this. I edited a bunch of videos yesterday and to put up on YouTube to get them scheduled, and evidently I missed the part about muting the sound on this particular one. So I am so sorry about that. It's getting fixed right now, and I'll put the video back up. For the rest of the card, I used some of the winter Lawn Fawn 6x6 paper pads, and I wanted to show that you could use this paper pretty much year round. And I used the Nitpicky and what was it called, Christmas Rainbow. I used the Christmas Rainbow because it has the polka dotty patterns in it, and I love polka dots. So you can use that stuff year round. It's not just for Christmas, just because it was released at Christmas and it has some Christmas stuff in there. You can use that stuff year round, and I did. So here's a little spring birthday card. Alright, so you die cut this panel twice. You die cut the front panel once with the puzzle piece in it and once without. And if you have a really sturdy patterned paper that you want to use on the front, then go ahead and die cut it as the front piece. But if it's not a super heavy duty one, I would still use like an 80-pound cardstock and then put the patterned paper over it, which is what I did here. And I put the patterned paper over top of my 80-pound paper. I just didn't feel comfortable with it being sturdy enough for this. I have also started using washi tape a lot more to hold down things and be my extra set of fingers, basically, an extra set of hands. And I have come to really, really, really use that washi tape a lot. It's super helpful. We've all got washi tape sitting on shelves, in drawers, and that kind of thing. Use it to your advantage. We're not going to, let's face it, we're just not going to use washi tape like, you know, making on the cards and that kind of thing. Sometimes we do, but the simple matter of fact is we're not going to use all of the washi tape that we have for cards or planners or closing envelopes or whatever else in the world we're going to use it for. So it's low tack enough that you can definitely use it to help with your crafting needs, and you've got tons of it, so use it. And there's always going to be more washi tape, so just go use it. I am in a big, huge use what you got kind of mood here lately, so I'm really trying to use what I've got and spread those, really use my resources to my advantage in my craft room. And that's another reason why I'm kind of expanding what I'm doing as far as on my blog and the crafts that I'm doing. You know, my focus, of course, is still probably going to be mostly cards, but I'm also going to do a lot of paper crafts in general so that I can use up my stash and also share my ideas with y'all. And I'm going to be doing some SVG files and for silhouette and those kinds of things, and using my silhouette more to my advantage to keep my crafting costs low, and I will show you how I do that along the way. I went ahead and pulled out the Hey There stamp set from Lawn Fawn as well, and I'm going to color up all of these images. When you're making a big card like this that you're going to put a scene on the front of, go ahead and stamp and color all of the images that are in the stamp set. Even if you don't use them, you can put the ones that you colored and didn't use in the packaging so you can use it another time. So you don't have to use everything that you cut and color right then and there. You can save some of the images for another time. I'm not going to show the Copic coloring of the images just because that's not the focus of this particular video. But what I wanted to show you really quick was how easy it was to stamp my sentiments in my on my reveal wheel. I just taped my template to the front and stamped my sentiments in there. You have a use for your brads now, by the way. Make a bunch of reveal wheel cards and your brads are all gone. Use little ones. I think I used one that was a little more decorative than it needed to be, but it was the smallest one I had because it's a little too rounded and it sticks up just a tad bit. Ignore the love thing that's over to the right. I was using it for scrap paper to figure out what color I was going to color my piggy and forgot that it was sitting there. So we're going to do some foam tape. Okay. I lied, not some. We're going to do a ton of foam tape on the back of this thing. As I said, I'm trying to use up some supplies. I like foam tape a whole lot, Scotch foam tape, a lot better than I like using foam squares or pop dots or any of that stuff. I'm not a fan of pop dots. Just because you have so many pieces of release paper, it takes forever to get them off. And I just really, really, really prefer Scotch foam tape. But I have these, so I'm going to use them, and that's that. So I'm using my ATG tape runner here to go ahead and add adhesive to the outside edges on the back of the patterned paper so that I can put this on the front of my card. And I'm lining that up at the base of the panel and then just laying it down and making sure that it's squared up all the way around. If you wanted to do this and still have some wiggle room, you could use glue and liquid glue like Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and it would definitely give you time to make sure that it's all squared up. So I'm going to put a piece of washi tape on the back of the wheel and wrap it around, and it's in that little finger hole there so that it doesn't move around while I am applying all of the foam tape to the back of the front panel. I'm not a fan of the method to put the wheel on the back panel and then go back and put foam tape down around it and then put the front panel on. I'd just much rather do it in one foul swoop and make sure that it's squared up to begin with. I'm just not a fan of that method. So that's why I use the washi tape over in the finger hole, because it is going to hold that reveal wheel down and it's not going to let it move, and then I can apply the back to it without having that reveal wheel move around on me. So the other thing that I'm working on, I wanted to let y'all know about, is I'm going back and pulling out some of my older videos that I have, older blog posts along with videos that I have done in the past that might have some SVG cut files and things attached to them, and make sure that y'all are aware that I have some of those. One of them is a sentiment file, so some sentiments. We all love sentiments on the front of our cards, and especially the big ones. And I have some of those over on my website so that you can download those for free. And I'll have that done probably in the next week or so. A bunch more anyway. So I love the dies that companies put out, but let's face it, sometimes it's just too expensive to buy those dies all the time, and to have a million different thanks dies is really expensive, and we need a better option for that. So I'm creating some sentiment files that you'll be able to download for free, and then I'll have some for purchase too that are in a much bigger pack, and a download bundle and that kind of thing. So just keep your eyes out and open for those things that I'm making better over on my website for crafters to save a little bit of money, and also still have absolutely amazing projects that you would be able to use these sentiment files for. So we've put together our reveal wheel, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now we're going to put together the rest of the card, and I use liquid glue to glue everything down. I use some foam tape on the back of my little critters here as well, and just made a really cute little happy birthday scene. And I wanted it to say, you know, happy fabulous birthday, happy terrific birthday, happy amazing birthday, etc., etc., etc. So that was the theme of the card here. And I wanted to also share with you how I put everything down, how I kind of build my scenes. And I literally will put it down, figure out where it needs to go, and then lift up half, put glue down, and then add the rest of my materials that I need here. Don't forget to head over to my blog and check out my blog post for this as well, with some tips and tricks on how to put together a reveal wheel card very easily and quickly, and some do's and don'ts. I'll also have the Copic colors listed that I used for all of our images over on my blog, and the link to the products are listed below in the description as always. And honestly, I don't remember what the rest of this what I said in the rest of this video, and I'm so sorry. I've had to, like I said, this is the third time I have done the voiceover for this. The first time it just didn't record. This time I just messed up and forgot to turn off the volume on the actual videos where I was recording. Shame on me. So here we go. For the little goat, I actually took a penknife and cut between his legs and made it look like he was sitting on top of the fence, because you know goats will go everywhere and anywhere. So I made him look like he's sitting on top of the fence, and just literally took a little penknife and cut down on the legs on that so that he would look like he's sitting on top of the fence. I did back this particular card with a blue card base. I would recommend highly that you put foam tape on the back of this particular mechanism, because it's really difficult to spin the wheel on the inside if you don't. So just keep that in mind, that this is going to be a pretty thick card. It does still fit. I do have a lot of foam tape in here. It's 2-3 layers of foam tape in some places, but it was still able to fit in a regular A2 size envelope. You might just need to put a little bit more postage on it than normal. So just keep that in mind when you are making this card, that it is going to be a little bit thicker than the rest of them. And I did cut my sentiment. I know that freaks some people out, but for photopolymer stamps or even regular red rubber stamps, you can cut the sentiments apart and still put them back together. I don't have the Lawn Fawn Fishtail banner sentiment strips. I have the MFT ones that are in the 4 different sizes. The Lawn Fawn ones I think are too long, or I couldn't find them at the time. I don't know. But anyway, I have the MFT ones, and that's what I'm going to use. And I like to stamp my sentiments, as we know, with a block, and I'm going to use some anti-static powder tool and some white embossing powder on red paper. I picked up all of the colors out of the background on the polka dotted piece of paper. So the blue matches the blue polka dots, the red is going to match the red polka dots, etc., etc., etc. So I made sure that everything blended together, even though it's a lot of pattern and it's really busy. I made sure that it did blend together. And that's one of the advantages of using a 6x6 paper pad from a specific company, especially like Lawn Fawn and Doodlebug Designs. All of those papers are going to go together that are in that set. Echo Park is another one that does it really well. All the colors match, all the patterns, even if it's multiple patterns on the same card, it still really goes together. And actually, if you look at the Magic Picture Changer card that I did the other day, I have 3 different patterned papers. They're plaids on there, and it's still super cute because all of them, I have one pattern paper that has all the colors in it, and then I have one that's just yellow, and then I have one that's like green and blue, and all of those colors are in one of the pattern papers, so it all blends very, very well together. So keep that in mind when you're wanting to do pattern papers on a card. It's really simple to do. You just need to make sure that the colors really do go together. I find it's really difficult to do if you are getting pattern papers from different companies together, just because a red isn't always a red in different color papers. So just think about that when you're putting your cards together. And of course, it doesn't have to be like matchy 100%, but especially with reds, they will clash, because one will be a blue base and one will have an orange base, and no. So just make sure that at least your reds do go together. And now I'm babbling a little bit, and I am so sorry. So we get this all done, and I actually go back and redo the birthday sentiment on there, because see how it's a little crooked? I actually go back and I redo that. Don't forget to head over to my blog and subscribe to my newsletter and get weekly tips and tricks and news that's going on in the blogosphere. And also I generally will do a recap of all the blogs I've posted that week. And some news of classes and or special things that are going on just for my readers. So head over to my blog, JillCameronCreations.com, and hit subscribe to my newsletter. You'll also get access to my free resource library. I have downloadable ink swatch charts and SVG files and printable cheat sheets and all kinds of stuff in there. So don't forget to check that out. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's a big important one. And looking forward to, and speaking of YouTube channel, I participated in a YouTube hop back before Christmas, and that's where I got a lot of my subscribers from, and I thank every single one of you. And I'm going to participate in that same kind of blog hop again. I believe it's going to be at the end of May this year, and I will be participating in that, and I'll have some big fun project for us to take a look at, and at the end of May, as well as participating with a ton of other amazing YouTube artists and paper crafters as well. And see, I got to finally use my foam tape there, my Scotch foam tape. I love my Scotch foam tape. Put that on the background and we're done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Got to put that arrow on there too. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, need help, assistance, or anything else with your papercraft projects, don't forget you can email me at hello@JillCameronCreations.com. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions that you have. Y'all have an amazing day. Card pictures at the end of the video. Bye.